Yeah, this is happening. So I have a Patreon, and I'm going somewhere with this. Last month, I put up a poll saying what I should do for Christmas, and they voted, and I screwed up by leaving it too late, and I couldn't get the ingredients for it anymore. And it was the kind of thing where you either do it by Christmas or you don't bother doing it at all. So I said to them, look, I've fucked up here, guys, I'm sorry. What should I do instead? And I put a list of things which were a lot more horrible than this, I've got to say, actually. They've shown a degree of restraint. But this was what won. WKD. I've covered the Iron Brew one in years gone by, and I'll be releasing that video on the tail of this one as well, because I need to get it out. Actually, it's 3 years old, I don't need to do anything with that, but yeah, so this is a thing. A checkered history, I think, is safe to say that this has. WKD is part of a alcopop craze, I suppose there was, in the 90s. It actually kicked off in the 80s with the launch of a few things like Zima and stuff in the US, and then it kind of filtered through into the UK. Things like Bacardi Breezers, Hooch. I've never seen or tried a Zima. It sounds like a skin condition, so I don't think I want to be honest. But these guys were sort of one of the market leaders for a good long while. I've had WKDs before, or Wickeds as they used to be known. They're fine, I think is the nicest thing I can say about them. They're alright, you know, again, they're a bit of fun, you know, when you're in the mood just for some bullshit, you know. You kind of know that you're taking the piss, and it's fine. These started out life a lot stronger. They were 5.5% alcohol by volume originally. They have decreased steadily throughout the years, and they currently sit at 4%. And this is their blue variety, and it is blue flavoured and blue coloured. They have tried to reinvent themselves a few times, and they're currently going with this exclamation point kind of a thing. I don't really miss the old branding, to be fair. I think this is actually quite clean and clever. I quite like it. One thing that I never got my hands on, though, they released a couple of, I'm not sure if they were liqueurs or they were flavoured spirits, but I think they were like flavoured vodka in blue and Iron Brew flavour, and I always looked at them, I was like, I need to get around to trying those at some point, and I never did. And then they disappeared off the shelves, never to be seen again, because I don't think anybody went for that. They kind of came onto the flavoured vodka market way too late with that. They might have had some success about 10 years ago, but this was like 4 years ago or so, I want to say, and the bubble had already pretty thoroughly burst at that point. As you can probably tell, I'm putting this off a little bit. I'm going to carry on with that for a little while longer, because the history of Alcopops is not very long, but it follows into a category of, hey, here's this fun, stupid thing, and then all the, like, natty mums and stuff being like, oh, won't somebody please think of the children? Basically, every Helen Lovejoy comes out of the woodwork. They are based around pop, you know, children's drinks, for want of a better way of putting it. You know, they're really sugary, really sweet, often artificial fruit flavoured, bright colours. They're a club drink. That's what I think of them as, you know. There's something to just kind of like knock back while you're dancing or gyrating or whatever it is that you do in clubs. I've been in clubs a half dozen times. The only time I got off with somebody, I was so drunk I literally don't remember it. There's photo evidence. He was pretty hot, actually. So, I don't know, maybe being drunk makes me irresistible. Curious to see what it has to say for itself. 2.8 UK units. The entire bottle is that. I mean, it's weaker than most beers these days. Sparkling fortified alcoholic premix, blending mixed fruit flavours containing caffeine. Gluten-free, suitable for vegans. So that's exciting. The recipe for this is a closely guarded secret because it's just that fashionable, you know? Oh. There was heavy taxation on these things. The Co-op banned their sale at one point. Like, they've been all over the place. There was a moral furore. Furore. People were really fucked off with these things. And it's kind of funny because it's a bright blue, vaguely berry-flavoured drink. Now, I think, from the smell of this that I'm getting from across the room, still not got COVID, hey, It'll be a bad day when they do, to be fair, but yeah. It's that blue raspberry flavour, you know you get in like Panda Pops, you know, those little cartons that you like pierce with a straw. That, blue raspberry, absolutely. The colour is blue. You can have a bit of fun at like Star Trek conventions with this, couldn't you, I suppose? I decided to put it in a chalice just to see if it makes me any more respectable while I'm drinking this. There's loads of other blue drinks out there, you know, there's blue vodkas and stuff like that. There is blue wine, which I'll be meaning to get my hands on at some point, because it's a hilarious fuck-up, that one, but I won't go into that now, despite as much as I want to. I don't mind these things. I've had them, not fairly recently, I mean like over a year ago now, but I mean, I've definitely had them, you know, within the last 5 years. I don't hate them. Oh, a bit sour actually. That's new. Are these always sour? It's a bit odd. I mean, you could knock it back like juice, you know. There's no hint of like any alcohol in there. It's very well disguised, which is literally the entire point. You know, that's the point of it. I'm not sure how much regulating these does the job, because I think it's pretty obvious what these are. Obviously, the argument against it was, oh, you're encouraging children to drink. Bit lemony, actually. There's like a lemon sherbet kind of thing going on. It's a little bit sort of sour towards the finish, in like a Warhead sour candy kind of a way. And there is a definite mixed berry, sort of the blue raspberry flavour. I think that's the best way I can describe it, that kind of like Panda Pop blue raspberry flavour. Very drinkable, very sweet. Not as sweet as I remember. It's not like tooth-rottingly sweet. It's sweet, but you know what, there's a bit more going on with it than just sugar, which kind of surprises me a little bit. Apparently the recipe has never changed, so maybe my palate's just gotten better, I don't know, and I'm picking up these nuances of WKD blue, but yeah, as it is, it's not terrible. It's a bit of fun, you know, and I think it should be taken in that context, and people should kind of stop having a go with this. The interesting thing really is what this has evolved into. It's kind of like in Pokemon, you know how like Execute, that cluster of eggs, evolves into Executor, that coconut tree, and you're like, how did that become that? This evolved into White Claw and other hard seltzers. They take out the sugar, they take out the colouring, but at the end of the day it's still fruit-flavoured grain alcohol, basically. And I railed against that. I think I'm a little more sympathetic to this because it's so clearly bullshit, whereas the other thing is trying to hide itself almost as like a health tonic, weirdly. But it's going with sort of the fashion at the minute, isn't it, for look after yourself, you know, it's trying to make alcohol seem respectable, seem healthy. And this definitely doesn't do that. It knows what it is. It's a party in a glass, you know? Or a bastard in a glass, I don't know. That having been said, after all the arguments about, you know, oh, kids aren't going to be trying this, I have actually had this as a child. When I was, I think I'd have been 8, my sister was round with a friend of hers and she had the green WKD. It's been discontinued. It was a sour apple flavour. And I think my mum and her were like having an argument about it or something like that. I think my mum had read something in one of the tabloids about how they were, you know, a moral evil or some such nonsense. And when she went out of the room, she was like, John, don't tell her I've given you this, but doesn't that just taste like apple? And I was like, yeah, it does. And then never thought about it again, the fact that I'd just been fed alcohol for the first time. So that was actually the first alcoholic drink I ever had, was WKD apple. And Sarah, if you're watching this, I know I've now outed that publicly, but I mean, to be fair, I never did tell her, so... How many copies of the Daily Mail out of 5 would I give this? It is... give it a 2. It's nonsense. What it tastes of is fake and artificial. The colour is fake and artificial. it's sweet and it's bullshit, but you know what? It's still likeable as a 2. It's not a horrible 2, it's just a... it is what it is, kind of a 2, if that makes sense. I will have no problem finishing this bottle. That's another thing as well. So all of you like nasty commenters that have been coming along recently, wherever you lot are coming from, there's been like a spate of abuse recently. It's weird. It's a good thing I'm quite thick-skinned these days, or just don't give a fuck at this point. Drank this, don't have an issue with it. If I was that much of a snob, I'd be like, yeah. He says, putting it in his like gold-rimmed chalice. But anyway, let me know down below. What do you think of Alcopops? Do people make a bit too much of a moral argument about it? Do they just need to shut up and get on with their lives? Are you amazed that this evolved into White Claw, or is that just kind of what you expected? Thumb this video if you enjoyed it, and do join me next time where I'll be drinking something else.